There isn't a pastor alive who doesn't want his church to grow and his people involved in the community and influential in that community. Hi, my name is Ron Radke from the Oasis of Hollywood, and today I'm here to present to you the 2-1-1 technique for reaching your community. My neighbor John came across the street the other day and started to explain to me he went to the doctor and the prognosis was not good. And I looked at him and I thought for a second and I said, John, let me explain something to you. I understand how a report like this can be very hurtful and I can tell how the pain could be very excruciating. But let me tell you a story about me going to the doctor, and you'll find this important. I thought I had tendonitis in my shoulder. It turned out to be a torn rotator cuff. The doctor didn't even hesitate to schedule me for surgery, and he told me that the rehab is going to take at least 9 months, and there was no guarantee that the results were going to be everything I would hope it would be. But the next week we were having a board meeting and I just thought, I'm going to have some people pray for me. So one of the guys on our board came over, he prayed over my shoulder for about a minute, and then he said, what couldn't you do before? The first thing I thought of was raising my left arm to see if it was still locked at 9 o'clock. So I immediately raised my arm up and it went straight up to 12 o'clock. I understood instantly that God had just healed me. Look, John, God loves you as much as he loves me. If he did this for me, he can do it for you. Will you let me pray for you? And he did. This is the 2-1-1 technique. 2-minute testimony, 1 minute of prayer, one soul at a time. This technique will not only change your congregation, but the neighborhood that you live in. You begin by teaching your congregation how to pray for the specific needs of people around them, where they live, work, and play. 1 minute or less will transform your congregation and add to your church. But by praying specifically, when it comes to pass, they will know that this was not coincidental. All of us have had challenges in our life, just like the rest of the world. But we have learned how to pray and see God meet our needs. By sharing those simple stories with people in similar circumstances, we can convince unbelievers to let Christians pray for their needs as well. So how do you build momentum? You start by having 2 jugs in the entry in the lobby of the church. 1 jug full of pennies, the other one empty but marked people prayed for outside the church. As your congregation files in on Sunday morning, if they've prayed for 3 people this week, they take 3 pennies out of the jug, throw it in the other jug as they file in. Once your congregation has arrived, a trusted person, an usher, takes us into the office and runs this through the coin counter. Within seconds, you have a total number of people who've been prayed for this week. This person, he or she, writes this down on a piece of paper, adding it to the year-to-date total, and slips it to the pastor before the offering time. And by the way, these results could be posted in the church bulletin, social media, the website, so everybody will see the fruit of what the congregation is doing, not just the leadership team. There's going to be stories. You instruct your congregation to get those stories to you in preferably, let's say, the form of emails, where they're easy to digest, and that you can choose only 2 stories a week that are going to be shared during the offering time. In exchange for the song that would normally be sung, you bring up what we call popcorn testimonies. Basically, they pop up, you have 2 minutes or less, tell the essence of your story, and sit back down. Pastor, you control the mic, so you also control the timeline. Now I'm going to let you in on a trade secret. Judy and I have run the Urban School of Evangelism since 1994. To date, we've trained more than 6,000 people cross-denominationally and from all 50 states. One of the most crucial things we do all week is what we call debriefing times. Every evening, we have opportunities to share stories of what took place during the day. The reason we do that is because it's an unspoken challenge that builds a continuous momentum. That's why you need to do this in your church. 2-minute testimonies every week, because everybody wants a story. When they see their friends up there sharing stories of people they prayed for, they went, pray? I can pray for people. I can do that. And they will take a chance, they'll pray for somebody, and they'll be sharing those stories in the future. Here comes a problem, Pastor, but it's a good problem. You'll end up with more stories than you have time to share at 2 on a Sunday morning. Maybe once a quarter. On a Sunday morning, when your whole congregation is there, is instead of the sermon, maybe only share testimonies. In 40 minutes, you could do 20 testimonies. from your congregation. Mix it up. Different people types up there sharing. Young, old, male, female, new believers, mature believers, etc. That way, everybody in the congregation will find somebody up on that platform that they can identify with. And they'll say to themselves, if they can do it, I can do it.